All right. Welcome to the Pocket Coach Academy Lincoln Douglas debate brief, and we're going to go over the Novice Neg case. And so the Novice Neg case is pretty simple, right? Negating the resolution that the United States ought to require that workers receive a living wage. So they said they ought not to, right? So you're arguing that living wage is bad, and net worse and or immoral, depending on what stance you want to take and what direction you want to approach from this resolution, right? Ought often gets referred to as a moral compass, but morality is super like fluid and subjective. And so, especially when you get context of like economics, um, less and less able to peg down really what is moral and immoral apart from like the extremes, right? So in this F, the value is economic stability. We value the stability of our economy. That means a national financial system that displays only minor fluctuations in growth and maintains low inflation. Low inflation, that's a key part, right? So economic stability, low inflation. The criterion is fiscal restraint. So maintaining fiscal restraint is key stimulants in the current environment and will destabilize the economy. So fiscal policy has entered a period of normalization with priority turning to ensuring consistent policy mix to deliver price and financial stability. So we say that if we enable or ensure fiscal restraint, that it will allow for a stable economy. Our goal is achieving a stable economy, and we say that creating fiscal restraints is key, right? I guess you know what a fiscal restraint is going to be, not a living wage. So contention one is inflation. And the idea that wage growth is slowing down now, that solves inflation. Workers' wages not increasing as quickly is good, and it allows for corporations to catch up and lower their prices. The last thing the US should do is raise their wages. Okay, so wages are stabilizing. They went up during COVID, everything got wild, they're coming back down. So then inflation is going down. Wage increases can cause inflation and a wage price spiral. Whereas wages increase, so do prices and so do interest rates. And if you know anything about a living wage, which is defined in the affirmative case, that as the price of goods increase, so does the wage necessary to live. So it becomes this cycle of wages increase, prices increase. So prices increase, so wages increase. And we say that's bad because that's literally what causes inflation. So the increases are running at levels well above what we consistent of 2% inflation, our goal over time. So, excuse me, a wage price spiral triggers an economic recession and collapse. So causes a wage price spiral, the spiral triggers a recession and or collapse. And we know why economic collapse is bad, because if the US collapse developing economies around the world and they destroy people's ability to invest in themselves and eliminate most economic growth. Global economic decline causes nuclear war and existential accidents. So basically, we say that the wage spiral created from a living wage and kind of the circular nature of wages increasing, price of goods to price of goods increasing a living wage and vice versa, it kind of races to a overly priced, overly waged society. And that triggers a recession and an economic collapse. That collapse can lead to a global collapse, right? If the US collapses, developing economies around the world, then they destroy people's ability to invest themselves and eliminate most of the economic growth. So that global economic decline can cause nuclear war and or existential accidents. Okay. Obviously you can go this route to give as much weight as you want, right? A lot of people in LD don't like the idea of going into extinction impacts and they want to stay more surface level, and that's fine. I just think that there's no loss of strategic or ability or real benefit to not using the biggest impacts you can as framing for your value and your criterion, right? Why should we value economic stability? Well, because it could cause nuclear war and existential accidents. Like when you win the framing debate and you can win the value resolution by framing your impacts and explaining why your value framed under the context of the impacts is the greatest focus, then the round gets a lot easier. The smaller you stay, here, that it hurts economic growth, right? It's not as easy to really understand and weigh that impact for the judge. So make sure that you're leveraging those back through the criterion, through the value, and focusing on telling that story between the internal link chain. So, and understanding that as the US economy goes, the world economy goes, and that's bad for the world if the economy collapses. So, good luck in round. As always, if you need any help, you can email me at cody@pocketcoachacademy.com, or you can email Zach at pocketcoachacademy.com. I'm going to get that out. Have a great day.